and that is 15 miles to the southeast of Las Vegas. That tornado warning set to run until 6:15 this afternoon. So we still got about 30 minutes or so on that tornado warning if that can hold together. We're going to look at some other products right here. This is the velocity. So these are the wind speeds right here on the radar. The concern is going to be right there where you see those reds and greens meeting up against each other. Those are the winds going towards and away from the radar site. The radar that we're on right now is at Cannon Air Force Base. So that's down over here to the southeast of right here. So the reds are the winds going to be going away from that. The greens, the winds going to it, and that's that area of rotation that we're concerned about right there. Once again, this is a confirmed tornado. We have had eyes on at this tornado, so this one is on the ground and it's moving off to the southeast at about 20 miles an hour.
Have on the desk. That's great.
I've never had crab.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
Yes, that's
not
true.
at all.
I just stick to my hamburgers and chicken. You can kind of see that spike right there on radar. It'll play one more time. There's that spike right there. And a lot of times when we see that on radar, that is indicating to us that we have some very large hail associated with one of those storms. And that's exactly what we've had going on right there. So tennis ball size hail associated with that as well. Winds around 10 miles an hour. Then tomorrow, winds for the morning hours, at least at the surface, should stay around the single digits, probably about 5 to 7, 8 miles an hour.
Brett's from Tennessee, so what do you say?
I used to say foliage.
Foliage? Well, I know that's wrong.
I just did a story on it though, so I had to really make sure I pronounced it foliage.
Okay.
But then more of that right here in southern parts of Bernalillo County, also down into Valencia County. If that continues to move a little bit further to the north, that could move right over us. So heavy rainfall is a possibility right here in the Albuquerque metro. This fire is also burning just about a half mile or a mile or so to the west of us, and you can see some of that smoke. This has kind of been going intermittently too. It was very smoky earlier. You can see those state police vehicles out there right now, but the smoke was thicker earlier. That's kind of taking a break, but then it'll come back, and that's kind of just been what it's doing. And the same thing with the winds. But Eddie, we've been talking about it for the past few days now. We're very dry. We're still in bad drought across the entire state, and it's been very windy, and we're seeing the results of all of that right now. But for now, we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
The Javelina just jumped in to grab a bag of Cheetos. We know Brett Luna is going to understand that.
Absolutely, and especially if you have some bread with it and you make you a Cheeto sandwich. Those are so good.
You are so weird.
No, they're good. So not quite golf ball size, but we're getting up pretty close to that. And then we're just going to take a wider look again. I've showed this map a couple of times now. This tornado watch was issued earlier today. So everybody in that shade of orange right there, that's the tornado watch. It's set to run until 9 o'clock tonight. So in those areas, that means the conditions are favorable for these tornadoes to continue to develop. All the ingredients are in place. Earlier today, we were testing out this laser gun, and basically it's going to show us how hot the surface of something is. So I'm going to point it right here. This is not beneath the shade tree, and we're looking at about 105 right there. And then I come over here and I shine it beneath the shade tree, and we're seeing temperatures there about 98. So that's only about a 6-7 degree difference. But once again, that's because we have these clouds that have moved in. So that really just shows us how important finding shade on a day like today. If that was people like me, that stage would be black.
Well, I was wondering, you got any dance moves for us?
None.
None?
I can't dance to save my life. Can you?
Well, I'll be dancing out the door here. Friday.
I'll go watch you dance.
You've been telling everybody I'm off this weekend.
It's your weekend.
That's right.
I'll be here working.
Yeah.
Current temperatures, those are in the 50s, 60s, and 70s for most locations. We're at 67 right here in Albuquerque. It's 61 in Santa Fe. A little cooler further west, 53 right now in Grants. And then down south, we have some of those numbers in the low to mid 70s. Winds a little bit breezy for just a couple of spots, fairly light. But still flash flood watches in place for parts of southern Colorado. Also north central and northeast New Mexico. Here in New Mexico, those are set to run until 6 o'clock. So that means conditions will be favorable for that flash flooding to occur. For the rest of the night, that's exactly where the heaviest of the rain should remain. You can see a lot of that right there up in far north central and northeast New Mexico. Otherwise, further south, a little bit drier. But if you do happen to be within that area for whatever reason, your safest bet, get inside, get to the lowest floor of whatever building you're in. Also put as many walls between you and the outside of the house or building as possible. So you want to go to that most interior room. Gulf Coast, that is Hurricane Delta. That's going to continue to move up on that north-northeasterly track. A lot of rainfall associated with that system. Flash flood warnings in place for parts of central Louisiana right there. It made landfall around 5 o'clock our time as a Category 2 hurricane. That's now dropped down to 90-mile-per-hour sustained winds. That's Category 1 strength. That's continuing to move off to the north-northeast at 14 miles per hour. And as it does, it's going to continue to weaken once it travels inland.
Well, Brett, this is, gosh, another day here where we're
having to deal with these threats and tell people about them.
Tommy, I've lost count now how many days it's been since we've had, I mean, it's severe thunderstorm day after severe thunderstorm day, so we got another little bit of that going on for today. Yesterday, we had a ton of activity, a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings issued across the state. So that right there is going to be the area of circulation. Looks like it's just crossing over the Lincoln and Chavez County line right there, and that's going to continue to move off to the northeast. This storm right now, it is moving on that northeasterly track at 15 miles an hour, so we're having to worry about the potential for a tornado. Once again, nothing confirmed just yet. This is radar indicated, but we also have some semi-large hail.
Brett, what about you?
I don't get any of those references. I've never seen that movie.
Gosh, dang.
Which, like I said, doesn't surprise y'all.
He lives in a bubble.
Winds gusting up there around 40 miles an hour, right at 40 in Raton, at just 18 miles an hour here in Albuquerque, but we have been a little bit breezy today. The best wind, that's going to be in the northeastern part of the state. That wind advisory is set to run until 7 o'clock tonight. Winds gusting up to about 50 miles an hour or so there. And we also have some fire concerns. High fire danger still in parts of central New Mexico from southern Colorado down into parts of Socorro County. The severe threat for Monday, that level 2 risk for everybody in that shade of yellow. That's a slight risk for severe weather. The main concerns for tomorrow, just like we're expecting today, some strong damaging winds, also some isolated large hail possible with some of those storms. We have seen worse conditions right here on the drought monitor. Parts of northern, southern, and eastern New Mexico not in any drought category. Only a few spots in that worst category. That's the exceptional category. Here's what it looked like on May 1st, but now we're going to fast forward to what it looks like today, and that's dropped down to only about 9% of the state in that exceptional drought categories. The rain, yes. The smoke, no. And we're going to start out by showing the smoke here on this time-lapse camera from Sandia Peak right up here. And you can see all that smoke that we've had just this morning alone. You can hardly even see the sunrise. It's very faint coming up over and through all of that smoke. But there it is right there. Not too clear of a picture. And that's from all those wildfires that are burning. That one around 100 acres or so right there. But it's all these big wildfires that are out west that's bringing in all that smoke into parts of southern Colorado and northern New Mexico. Air quality alerts in effect for southern Colorado until 9 o'clock this morning until noon for parts of northern New Mexico. And here's a model that shows us that surface smoke and what it should do through the rest of the day. So there's that fire that just started. You can see a little bit thicker smoke right in those areas. But here's the picture for noon. So a lot of areas north of I-40, also all along Interstate 25, running south nearly to the Texas and Mexico line. Here's a severe weather threat for Monday. So a lot of the state under that level 1 risk. The main concerns for tomorrow, the chance for some strong damaging winds, and then also we could see some very heavy rainfall. That could lead to some flash flooding for some of these areas as well. Severe thunderstorm warning. It's got about 23 more minutes on it. It's set to expire at 8 o'clock this evening, and that's because of some very strong winds. So here's these strong thunderstorms that are moving through parts of Sandoval, Los Alamos, Santa Fe counties. It's already moved through a lot of that area. It's continuing to drop a little bit farther south, and it should be moving right over us here very shortly. Parts of us even seeing some very heavy rainfall right now. Rio Rancho with some heavy rainfall going on right now. Once again, the severe thunderstorm warning set to run until 8 o'clock. And this storm, these line of storms, it's dropping to the southeast at about 40 miles an hour or so and producing wind gusts of about 50 to 60 miles an hour. Also, with the very strong winds, that's what the severe thunderstorm warning was issued for. However, we could still see some very heavy rainfall continue to drop south right over us, and that could cause some concern. So you got to stay out of arroyos. And then all those like fake recipes, you know, instead of chicken, they do the cauliflower or whatever.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Those are terrible too.
I completely agree.
And that heat is drying everything out very quickly. But then, right here in the Bosque, we're also having to deal with all this cottonwood, and you can see this. I'm going to take a big scoop right here, and look at how much cottonwood is right there in my hand. And all this cottonwood, it's just going to act as lighter fluid for any of these fires. All this green that you're seeing right there that's continuing to just flow up the Rio Grande, that's all that smoke being produced by that fire. This is again in southern Valencia County, and now south of that into parts of Debaca County, on into parts of Chavez County, but mainly the activity going on right here in Debaca County. And we've recently, over the past 10 minutes or so, just started to see some heavy rain develop right here along or near Fort Sumner. That severe thunderstorm warning is set to run until 7:15. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, ping pong ball sized hail with that storm right there. We also had that severe thunderstorm warning that was in parts of south central Otero County. That was canceled about 6:15. We've had some heavy rainfall there though. We have that aerial flood advisory in effect. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain have fallen over the past couple of hours in far parts of south central Otero County. The threat, it's not over with yet. We still have several more hours possible of this. This severe thunderstorm watch for everybody in that shade of yellow, set to run until 10 o'clock tonight. The main concerns, damaging winds, isolated large hail, and even a tornado still can't be ruled out for the next few hours. And we've actually seen all three of those occur already today with these storms. Wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour. And also we've had that tennis ball sized hail in that confirmed tornado that was on the ground about 15 miles to the southeast of Las Vegas. So this yellow box means that those conditions in those areas are favorable for more of these severe thunderstorms to develop for at least the next few hours.